Welcome back to AWS DevOps Lokesh Tech YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about Kubernetes secrets and also config maps. Just we are discussing, and we would like to recollect all the information and all. So let's discuss. Just get into topic. 1 minute. Let me share my screen. So, guys, config maps. What is config maps? So yesterday we have discussed already. Simply in your language, just tell me what is config maps.
So config maps are used to store the
Hmm.
unessential data.
Yeah. Yogesh, I think your voice is getting break.
Like
Are you able to hear?
non-sensitive data.
Yashwant, can you hear Yogesh voice?
No, sir, it is breaking, sir. Voice is
Yes, sir.
breaking.
Now,
Okay. Hmm.
yes, sir. Config maps are used to store the non-sensitive data, sir.
Correct.
Whereas secrets are used to store the sensitive data.
Yeah, true. Yes. So are you able to see my screen or no, right?
No,
No,
sir,
sir.
I am not able.
Oh, I did not share. I'm sorry. So I think Yashwant is in hurry. Maybe he has some plans. So let him go. Not a problem. Until then, just simply we'll discuss briefly about config maps and secrets, right? So config map is a cluster wide component, and secrets also similar in the sense not equal, almost like similar in the sense it's not equal as it is, but it's a kind of okay. So config maps and secrets are a kind of objects, not much difference. Okay, already whatever the running deployments or running pods, so whatever configuration to apply securely, that configuration will store in config map. Okay, and that if we can able to access inside, that configuration will apply securely. Okay, so config map is like centralized component. Centralized means etcd. Centralized in the sense where it is a centralized, and it is etcd is actually storage part. Okay, so it will be connected with all the components. So whatever, maybe if it is secrets, okay, or secrets related or urls, whatever it is there, so it will store in etcd. That is called, I am just using the term called centralized. And it is cluster wide, and whatever the components for all the pods deployments for them, how it has accessibility. Pods deployments, okay, so for them it has accessibility, right? So if we create a config map inside the cluster, all deployments and pods have access. You understood this point? If we create a config map, for example, we have created config map. Okay, after creating config map, inside the whatever the cluster is there, and inside whatever the cluster is there, for example this is a cluster, so in this cluster whatever all the deployments, pods, deployments, everything is there, so those have config map access. Understood? So it is no relationship with the namespace. So yeah, actually we have a namespace, but in this namespace, in the sense, it is completely isolated from the project to project. Is it right? Why we are using namespaces? To make it separate from the others. Okay, namespace is a different environment. It is isolated from one to other. Correct. But irrespective of the namespaces, config maps are available for all the kind of deployments, pods and all in the cluster. You understood this point? Again, correct?
Yes, sir.
So same secrets too. Okay, secrets are also used to store the sensitive information. Okay, so and config map is like API object. Okay, this is a API object. Okay, for example, you have front end. This is front end. Okay, and website is there. One website is there. Actually, website can able to see user. Correct. User can able to see, but front end have for this application. So if it is a dynamic application, we have a front end and we have back end. Correct. We do have front end and back end, and this, and also we have database. Okay, this database is connected with the backend. Okay, this process is there. Okay, in this connectivity we'll, for example, we have established all this connectivity. So if we store the sensitive data, so database have some URLs. Okay, for database have some, say, maybe if it is secure, so you might have a username. Okay, so and so xyz username and password. Okay, that password. So these URLs related, for example, if it is MongoDB, Mongo URL will be there. Is it correct? So whatever this, for example, if it is URL, it will be kind of URL format. Okay, that is non-sensitive data. This non-sensitive data and this is sensitive data. Passwords and all, these are sensitive data, which means secrets. Okay, so this whatever information is there, for example, if it is non-sensitive data, we can keep it as a plain text format. Correct. This will be encoded format. Okay, encrypted format. Guys, can you see? Yeah, fine.
Yes, sir.
So if we store the sensitive data in plain text format, it will security issue. Okay, for example, if it is passwords and username, if you save passwords in plain text format, so it will be displayed to others. Correct. It will leads to the secure problem. So that is the reason we will store key and value format, and that too base 64 encoded format. Okay, so values like whatever server IP, server name information will be fetched through. Okay, it will be fetched through that, it will connect with the database. Okay, so all this. So one central local we have store, that is called as etcd, I told. Okay, so by giving access to the etcd, our running application in the pod, okay, our running application in the pod to database, okay, and other applications it will connect and authenticate it. Okay, so central, actually some etcd is there. I already told this is etcd. Okay, this is actually, we can call it as a centralized. Okay, so whatever running applications, an application where it is, okay, it is application, this application where it is in pod, this is pod, inside the pod we have container and application, right? So all this kind of it will store in database. So database in the sense in our format etcd, correct? So config maps also we will deploy in manifest file. Config maps deploy in manifest file. Okay, so normally other objects we have had specified, okay, whatever we have specified earlier, but config maps, whatever we have specified in the manifest file, that had spec, right, specifications, but in place of this spec we have for config maps we have data. Already I've shown example, right? So that data, in that data we have to specify whatever config map related urls, etc., etc. Okay, in that data only we have to mention. Okay, so now secrets, why we have to use secrets? Okay, why we have to use secrets? So very sensitive information like passwords, tokens, so we have to store. So tokens like so will not expose, and the passwords will not expose to the outside the world. Okay, to encrypt that we will use secret. Whereas config maps we can use exposed data like database server urls. Guys, I'm completely emphasizing, okay, insisting, you guys may get bored. Why I am emphasizing in the sense, the secrets config maps are important, very useful. So you will get so you have to know that secrets how we have to use, config maps how we have to use. Okay, so I'm repeating multiple times because you have to understand the basics. That's why in secrets we have different types of secrets we have. So what are those? opaque, this is one. The second one is docker registry. Third one is TLS certificate, and last one service account. So in the secrets we have four types. Okay, one is opaque, second one is docker registry, the other one is TLS certificates, and service account. So we have seen already TLS certificates, what is TLS certificates and all. Okay, what is opaque? Opaque is the most common type of secret. It is a default one. Okay, common type of type of secret. It allows you to store the arbitrary key value pairs. It is like a base 64 encoded format. Understood? So it is suitable for strong general purpose sensitive information, and also it is default. Understood? And what is docker registry? Docker registry, guys, you know already. Ashwant, we have discussed while we are discussing docker.
Yes, sir.
So we have seen docker registry. It is used for storing the credentials to authenticate with the private docker registry, and includes server, username, password, and email fields. Okay, so docker registry also kind of secrets. And TLS, So TLS is already very recently we have seen what is TLS. TLS certificate and private keys. It includes the TLS.crt and TLS.key. We have seen all these things last TLS class. Okay, and service account. What is service account? Service account is for automatic purpose. Okay, service account will create automatically, so we won't create service account explicitly. You understood this? Automatically create the secrets that provides credential for accessing the
Yes,
Kubernetes
sir.
API. They are associated with the service accounts and allows pods to authenticate with the API server. Okay, so this service account will create automatic. One second. This service account will create automatically. We won't create manually. We won't create explicitly. Service account will be created when you deploy pod, etc. You understood this? Service account will be created when you deploy pod. Okay, so why we use service account means, in the sense, Kubernetes API server authenticate entry point. In Kubernetes, for every pod to communicate each other with other pod, right? So where information fetching, okay, how information fetching, for example, pod to pod communication is going on, but all time it is not asking you to secrets and all, right? Internally communicating each other, right, from API server. For example, in Kubernetes, for every pod to communicate with the with the other pod, okay, so where information fetching from API server, right? So it will fetch from the API server. So API, it will communicate with the API. Okay, service account will communicate with the API server. It will take the information. It will fetch itself. It will communicate itself. It will take entire information inside only. It does not appear anything to outside. From there it will get the data. From API server it will get the data. Okay, so it will firstly it will get the request to the API server. So then after it should authenticate. To authenticate API server, so we don't have any username and password certificate, sorry, specifically. So this service account internally automatically numbered. Okay, the credentials, whatever it is there, so by that credentials it will authenticate with API server. That information will be fetches. This process, without knowing internally, you especially administrator, it doesn't know. Okay, internally that logic is like that. It will communicate with the API server. It will take the data. It will fetches the data. It will take itself. Okay, and internally it happens in the background. Okay, but it is comes under one kind of secret. Okay, so mostly widely using secret is mostly we are going to use OPQ. Okay, right? So anything else? I hope so. Morning I have sent you one message. Okay, I think it is there with you. Right, you see this one, API version v1, right? Kind config map metadata name MongoDB something config map. So see here, data. Okay, so this is database URL. It is open and it is readable and it is in the form of plain text format. Got it? Config map. In config map we have to write like this, no specifications. Instead of specifications you write data, and this is database underscore URL. So this is MongoDB service. Okay, right? So type is type equal to opaq. So like this. Okay. So how we have to write config maps? So in the secrets, let me complete first this. In secrets, so I will share with you one secrets. Again I will share with you. I think it is not with in laptop, so I have downloaded one image. So in secrets, how we have to write manifest files? Same like, so you have to understand config maps, and also one second. You got it? I think so. You might get. See this? See this, guys. Last picture I have shown you, right? Already. So this is API version. API version, kind to secret, metadata. This is name of the this. Type is opaq. So again, no specifications. Data. This is username. This is password. Username is in form of base 64 encode. Okay, so password is like that. Actually this is not actual password, this is not actual username. This behind the background, the username will be different. Okay, background, the password is also will different. So after applying base 64, encoded, so it will convert like this. We have to mention this here in this manifest file. You understood? So if you compare both, one second, see this, guys. What is this? See this? This is config map. Config map, why I am telling all together, config map and this both are looking same, right? Config map actually API version, kind, metadata and data. Secrets also API, kind, metadata. Okay, type extra is type. What is type? opaq, because it is a form, it is type of, it is opaq type will be there. Okay, so TLS will be there. Okay, Docker registry also is there. So these all types are there. That is the reason we have mentioned type. Okay, so see this, both you try to compare. API version, kind config map, here kind secret, here metadata, MongoDB configuration so something metadata, what we have mentioned, name mentioned. In metadata we have mentioned a name, and type is extra for the secrets, type opaq, and other one is data. In this data we have mentioned database URL. In this we have just simply mentioned username and password. That's it. There is no much different in this manifest file for the secret and config maps. Got it, guys? So this tomorrow's class, so we are going to launch one application, sample application, so that we have seen already in the Docker. The same kind of application we are going to launch in the Kubernetes by using all the objects, okay, required objects. Okay, in that this config maps and also secrets also we are going to use. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So this is all
Sir,
about.
what are all the objects?
So deployments are there, replica sets are there, right?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So deployments are there, replica sets are there, pods are there. So these are all objects, okay? So this is object in the sense,
Okay, sir.
Yogesh, whatever you are mentioning in the kind, this is object. You should not call something like secret is the
Okay,
secret, deployment is like deployment. So in interview questions, whenever they ask the question like what is object in the sense, you have to remind that whatever you are mentioning in the kind, that is a object. Component in the sense
okay,
that
sir.
components will be there in your architecture. So for example, etcd is there, okay, that is a component.
API server.
Okay, API server is there, that is a component. Kube controller is there, okay,
Scheduler.
scheduler is there, okay, kube proxy,
Yes, yes.
kubelet, these are all components. But if once if
Okay,
you
sir.
comes into this manifest file, so what are the object in the sense, it is a secret object, okay. What is this object in the sense,
Yes, sir.
in this, if you say, one second, in this config maps, this is actually what is object, what kind of object in the sense, it is a config map object. This is secret object. Pod in the sense, pod object. Replica set, replica set object. Replica controllers, replica controller object. Daemon set object, like that. Got it? So these
Okay,
are all
sir.
fields.
Yes, sir.
So whatever individuals are there, API version, kind, metadata, type, data, these are all actually fields. Okay. So we can also call as attributes. So these terminals are very important. If you forget this terminology, you could not able to explain to the interviewer. Correct?
Sir, but sir, in the secret object, sir, like we are mentioning in data, Mongo root username is there, right? Mongo root
Hmm.
password.
Hmm. So that is you can
Those
replace
are
with
all
anything.
the like specific.
You can replace
Okay,
with
okay.
anything. This is actually one example I have
Yes, sir.
taken.
Okay.
Okay. This is
But
just example.
but
Yeah.
here, sir.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. But here at the username we have given base64 encoded format, right?
Hmm. Correct.
Like how it can
That's why I'm telling.
how it can
I
understood
so once
like
you
this is username.
see that we have to maintain for secrets, we have to maintain one manifest file, okay. Okay. And for base 64 also,
Okay, sir.
base 64 we need to convert it actually. So while converting, you have to maintain
Okay, sir.
secrecy document, right? So how you are maintaining it, you have to maintain the proper documentation. So yeah, I hope I have given answer for you. So again, if you could not if I could not reach you again, ask the question again. So
Yeah,
repeat the
like
question.
here, sir. Mongo root username. Yeah, Mongo root username is there. Sir.
Mm,
We have passed a value for that, like username in the format of encoded format.
correct.
Like how can it understood? How can it understood? Like, this is the username. This is the password.
Yeah,
Like that.
see, this is actually one simple sample manifesto file, but in our
Yes.
while we are doing while we are launching the application, so we are not
Okay.
solo. We are not able to launch the only one manifesto file. So one each other we have a connections. For example, deployment manifesto file will be there. Okay, secret will be there. Config map will be there. Okay, so replica set will be there. So these are all manifest files are there, that manifest file. So in the fields we will mention that. Okay, for example, in the morning I have shown you
Okay.
reference config map ref, that is the right,
Yes, yes, sir.
that config map
Yes,
reference
definitely.
will take care and it
Yes.
will connect with each other and it will communicate with each other, there it will call. Okay, you
Okay, sir.
understood?
That's,
So that reference where we have to
yes,
mention,
sir.
that
Understood.
reference we have to mention in the deployment. Okay, from the deployment if
Okay,
you
sir.
mention reference, by reference that, so it will call. So example, config reference, whatever it is there, in that object, or I mean in that attribute, it will call this whatever config map is there, that will secrets are there. If it is config map related, it will call URL. If it is secrets related reference, it will call secrets, this whatever attribute, it will call it inside. Okay, don't worry, you can see that, you can understand tomorrow also.
Okay.
So we are going to launch a bigger application, sample application. Okay, so
Okay.
why I'm telling all these things, even if you learn the objects perfectly also, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, once if you
Yes.
apply somewhere, okay, once if you implement somewhere, only you can understand exactly what is Kubernetes. You understood?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay, so that's all about today's class, config maps and secrets, and tomorrow we'll see about how we have to launch the Kubernetes application by using different objects. Okay, Yashwant.
Yes, sir.
So that's all about this class, and tomorrow we'll see. Until then, take care. Bye bye.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you.